Hey everybody, welcome to episode 33 of the Fiberista Files. Today is Easter Sunday. Alright, first things first, I need to apologize to y'all. I was expecting a fiber delivery this week. I'd ordered a week ago Thursday, so I was really hoping by Friday I would have an order so I'd have time to dye for you. It hasn't showed up yet. So unfortunately, there's not going to be much of an update. I will talk about that more in a little bit, but if you're just tuning in to watch and see what pretties I've got, sorry, it's going to be a little bit less than that this week. All right, so why don't I get started? I have notes this week. It's the first time in 3 weeks, I think, that I have notes. Of course, they're buried under the fiber that I can show you. Oh, I just lost a penny. Oh, well. Okay, also, sorry for the glare on my glasses. Holy jeez. The hair looks better with the glasses on. And after last week's triumph of hair goodness, I couldn't just go back to mess. So I'm in glasses today. Alright, dye plots. I'm going to start with dye plots. I have been dyeing for the Acadia Fiber Frolic this week. I've been on vacation this week. There's been no school. So I started dyeing up the stuff that I had for the Fiber Fair, Acadia Fiber Fair. If I said Frolic, that's wrong. I have like 30 pounds or some ridiculous amount of Superwash BFL in my dye cupboard, and I made a list of the stuff I'm going to dye, and Superwash BFL was one of the things I was going to dye. So I dyed up a bunch of that, as well as I'd received 5 pounds of Polwarth in my last delivery, and so I dyed that up as well. That's pretty much what I've been dyeing. I finished up a cone of the lace weight as well, the black cherry lace, but most of that went towards the show. So what I have is just a couple of yarns to show you guys today. The dyeing is going really well. I got super organized. This is actually technically in my processes, but I'm going to show you now because that's what I'm talking about. Of course, I taped it to the table. Oh, now I can't see myself. There we go. I created this one day while I was sitting in the chair with the dog on my lap. This is a list of the things that I am going to be bringing with me to Fiber Fair. This is actually kind of a lot to bring to, I think, to a one-day show. However, everything that doesn't sell, like if I have 3 braids of Thor's hammer and none of the 3 sell, they're going in a tote and they're going with me to Fiber Frolic, because Fiber Frolic is a 2-day event and it's much, much, much bigger. So currently I'm trying to dye for y'all and dye for Fiber Fair, as well as keeping in mind that after Fiber Fair I have 2 weeks until Frolic, and I'm not going to have enough time to dye 50 to 70 pounds of stuff. So the more I do now, if it doesn't sell, big whoop, it'll sell in 2 weeks. So anyways, I made this handy dandy chart. You can see that there's some things that are highlighted. These are things that I have done already. I took out some of the worsted that was in the shop, everything that I had 2 of, because when I dye the white ash worsted, it comes in half-pound hanks. So I dye the whole half-pound, and then when I'm rescanning, I divide it up into 2 so that they're the 4-ounce skeins. I had, out of the 10 colorways that I'm planning on bringing, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 7 of them already done. So now I only have to dye 3 colorways of the worsted. Everything else that I've bought for that color, that fiber, it's either going for Fiber Frolic or it's going to you guys. That will save me a lot of time. I have a purple, a gray, and a yellow to dye for that. So the lace yarn, down here I have 12 colorways for that. Again, the colorways are done in groups of 2 because 2,200 yards is pretty much the most that I've seen that you'll need for even large lace weight projects. So I do them up in 2 skein dye lots in the same dye pot so that they get the same dye, that the same saturation, concentration, all of that. You can buy just 1, but at least then the 2 are available if you have a larger project in mind. Now, the ones that I have upstairs in the fiber totes are Goldenrod, which is yellow, Cardinal, which is red, Lilac, which was the one that I custom dyed for my friend Patty. It's a real light pale lavender called Lilac. and Quarry, which is the one that I special dyed it for Tina, which I loved the way it came out, so I did that one again. I did buy some special blue dye to do a blue, like a medium range blue colorway, and I got this one. This I'm calling Blue Lobster. And it looks pretty good here in the skein. I gotta tell ya, it looks really cute. It's this beautiful medium blue. It's almost, it's like a shade darker than like a Grecian ocean kind of blue. It's almost Mediterranean blue. It's beautiful. Get that close to you so you can see it. Will it focus? Yeah, not a chance. Anyway, so these are called Blue Lobster. They are going up for an update because I had a minuscule speck of red not dissolved. The three colors that all colors are made from, the magenta, cyan, and the other one. Anyways, it's yellow, red, and blue. The red, sometimes the red dye doesn't dissolve all the way, and you really probably can't see in there because it's so blurry. But there are a couple of teeny tiny spots of red in this yarn, which irritated the stuffing out of me because I really liked this blue and I really wanted to sell it at the show. However, you see there's no, you can't see, there's a little bit more red right there. There are just a couple of tiny specks of red. This would classify for me as an oops yarn. I generally don't have oops yarns because if a colorway doesn't show up the normal way, if it looks different, I just name it, that would be my husband. I just name it something different and call it a new colorway, like Vintage in Motion. Just call it something else. However, with these dye flecks in here, he's messing around with the truck, I'm sorry about that. With the red dye flecks in here, I'm not happy with this. This is an oops yarn, so I'm going to discount these a little bit. Regularly, they're $19.50. I think I'm going to mark them down to $18 a piece. I know that's not a lot, but realistically, there's almost no red in this. And really, $36 for 2,200 yards. String Theory yarn, not String Theory Colorworks, but String Theory yarn sells 1,100 yard skeins of lace weight for $36 a piece. So, you're still getting a deal. Even better deal than usual. However, these will be going in the tiny update that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. They're called Blue Lobster. And Blue Lobster do exist. I've seen them. In fact, I saw them come right off of a lobster boat one day. I was down on the pier and they pulled one out of their trap. It was pretty cool. I'm drinking tea today in my awesome tea mug. I've been hoarse for like a week. It hasn't gotten any better. It hasn't gotten any worse. My throat doesn't actually hurt. It's just like I can't sing because my voice breaks and it's just ridiculous. So I've got some honey in my tea and we're going to see if that helps. Okay, one of the other things that will go in the update is as I was going through my list and dyeing, I make a lot of changes to this. You can see that I've got some things scribbled out and written over it. I have a whiteout correct-it pen too, so that I can make changes. For the things that I had 7 colorways, I started it with 6 and then I left the last one blank so that I could change my mind or create a new colorway or whatever. What I found was my husband and I worked on a couple of colorways, and in the Polwarth, I ended up with a pink and purple one that I'm calling Bo Peep, and it's sort of a twin, which was a blue and brown one that I'm calling Boy Blue, like Little Bo Peep and Little Boy Blue. And I like that one really well, actually. It was a good combination of blue and brown. When I did this Superwash BFL, I went to do Cloud Spotting, which is the colorway I've done before I did in Superwash Merino. I didn't have the regular brown that I used, so I used a lighter brown. And I just don't like it as much. So, since I already had a blue and a brown, I decided to give you guys this one because, like I said, I've got a ton of Superwash BFL, so I can always dye it something else. I try really hard to get a good balance of colors so that when you're looking at the fiber display, you see the whole rainbow. You see the naturals, you see red, orange, blue, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, the whole, you know, all of them. It doesn't always work out that way, but I do try. So this is Cloud Spotting on a little bit lighter brown than I normally use. If you've never spun with BFL, you need to. Superwash BFL is even more fantastic. I love this stuff. It's super smooth. When you unbraid it, or maybe I can even show you on an end here. I don't have very good ends on that one. Let's try looking at maybe that one. Okay. Do you see the curls in that? That is like the curliest, funnest, I know funnest isn't a word, I'm an English teacher, but really, it's just such a happy, crimpy fiber. The crimps totally behave themselves, and they just, you cannot play with this and not be happy. So cloud spotting is supposed to be reminiscent of looking at clouds, the undyed, through the tree branches and the clear blue sky. So cloud spotting. These are going to be available for purchase. Aaron and Steven, I know that you like blues and browns. That may have played a factor in this. Don't know, just saying. All right, so I also have one other skein of lace weight available, and this is moss. You have seen moss before. It's the green. I dyed up a pair of these and meant to put them in for the show. However, I had somebody waiting on a custom order for me. She wanted a skein of this, so I decided I'm just going to send her the one that she had asked for, a month or so ago. And I'll just put the other one up for sale. So this one is a single. It's the only one I have. It is 1,100 yards of fine merino, 100 grams. Fine count merino is 23 microns or fewer. It's very nice stuff. And it's a light lace weight. You could almost consider that cobweb weight. Some places do consider it a light lace weight or cobweb weight. 1,100 yards and 100 grams is pretty fine. Fantastic. I love it. And it knits up so pretty. Okay, that's it for fiber. That's it. That's all I can show you. I would show you what I'm dyeing for the show, but I think right before the show, I'm going to do a special, show anticipatory episode and a show recap episode. So right before Fiber Fair, I will show you all the colorways I'm going to do, all the fibers, explain how I go, what it's set up, all of that, the whole 9 yards. So that you kind of get an idea of what show is like for me, and then I will record some footage while I'm at the Fiber Fair, and then that will be part of the recap episode afterwards. So, all right. I've dyed up Pullworth Superwash BFL. I've got most of the worsted done and maybe a third of the lace weight done. I still have to do Corriedale, Superwash Merino 10-cell, bulky yarn, Falkland top, and sock yarn. That's a lot. I'm about a third of the way done. I've got about a month. I'm not too worried just yet. We'll see how that goes. If my fiber order freaking gets here, needs to get here soon. While I'm thinking of it, the update that I'm going to do, the teeny tiny minuscule update I'm going to do on Monday, will also have some spindles. I promise. I've been promising for weeks, but this week it actually really will happen. I'm going to photograph them here in just a minute and have those all ready to go for you. So, where's my notes? That's dye plots. Done. Hopefully next time my orders won't be so delayed and I'll be able to do a little bit better job. Alright, processes are done too because I just talked about my list, my very high-tech list of how I get colorways done. Growth. Oh, good. This is a good part. Okay, I have been looking for a way for a long time to get off of Etsy and move my shop onto my own.com. There are a lot of reasons for that. This was a goal really that I had planned to take action on closer to the middle of summer after Fiber Frolic, when that's the first weekend in June, and I don't really have anything planned until the end of July. So I was going to take that June and July time period, and I was going to work on creating a shop. There's a lot of shop software out there, Big Cartel, ZenCart, Google Checkout, there's a bunch. I wanted to be able to give it a lot of time and consideration and really do a good job. Maybe even get some outside help because I'm not the best when it comes to building websites. However, I went ahead and paid my Etsy fees for this past month the other day. And I paid $120 for the past month. Now, I enjoy Etsy. I do. I think if you are an unknown person and nobody knows who you are, you don't have a podcast, hi, or anything like that, then Etsy is good because when people search, for example, for sock yarn, you may show up in the listings. And so you can get business that way. However, while Etsy does not show me any kind of traffic reports, I don't get to see where people are coming to visit me from. Shame on you, Etsy. You should be doing that. I don't think I'm getting a lot of business randomly from Etsy. Most of the people who buy from me either heard about me on another podcast. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, everybody else who's mentioned me. Or they watch my podcast. Or they've heard about me from another friend or Plurk. Plurk's another one. Huge. I'm sorry, Etsy, but you did not do $120 worth of work for me last month. You just didn't. I'm really irritated with the way Etsy operates as a company in the fact that they are very poor about communication. They make changes and don't let us know. And you know what? Buyers don't make Etsy money. Sellers make Etsy money. I'm the one paying the fees to Etsy. I'm their customer. They need to be making me happy, and they haven't been. I know that may sound kind of conceited, but you know what? All I ask is that when you change the look of my website, my account, when I go in there, you tell me, send me an email, which they have because I get email updates when I get sales. All I want is an email that says, hey, we made some changes. Where it used to say, view your shop, now there's a little window icon that you might not even know what that means. That little crazy bullseye thing over there, that's your activity. Just thought you might want to know. Would it really kill them to send me an email? No, it wouldn't, but they don't. And I think their fee is something like 20 cents to list and then 3.5% of the transaction. That's way too much. My suppliers have gone up in their prices twice since I opened my business, and I've absorbed those costs. I haven't wanted to increase my prices because it's really hard to increase prices. It's hard to convince people that it's not you trying to make more money, but it's the cost of goods coming to you. Now, by moving away from Etsy, I'm going to save 3.5% of my profits that I wasn't having before. So I may be able, with a couple of exceptions, to keep my prices the way they've been, despite having a pretty significant increase in some of my base yarns and fibers. So, fingers crossed that this goes well. I have moved to, I'll put this, I was going to write it out, but I'll put it on it's down here. I now have a Big Cartel shop at shop.highlandhandmaids.com. You may already read the blog, highlandhandmaids.com. You're just putting a shop in there before. Now, don't use the www before because it won't show up. I'm working on making it so that it doesn't matter if you type in the www or not. It'll just do it. But as of yet, that effect hasn't happened. That change hasn't taken effect yet. So, bookmark it now. shop.highlandhandmaids.com. I will be doing all of the fibers that you see here in a mini update, minuscule, tiny update on Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern in the Big Cartel shop. I like the software. I really like the look and feel of the cart. You can customize it a little bit. I'm sure people who have more knowledge of CSS and HTML and all that can do more in the way of customizing. But you know what? I've seen several businesses, fiber businesses, that have switched to the software, and I really like the look of their shops. An added bonus is that when you put something in your cart, if you want that one skein of moss and you put it in your cart, nobody can take it from you. You can't be cart napped for 30 minutes. I've had several people say, oh my gosh, I really wanted that, but I got taken right out of my cart. Somebody was quicker on clicking checkout than I was. And I feel bad for you. If you clicked on it, if it's there and you click on it, you ought to be able to get it. So, you won't be able to be cart napped anymore. To me, big deal. So, I hope you big puppy heart me too, because I puppy heart you and I don't want you guys to get cart napped. So, it doesn't, anyways, Big Cartel is a flat rate fee. I pay $19.99 a month. I can list 100 items. We'll see how this goes. I'd much rather pay Big Cartel $20 a month than Etsy $120 a month. Really, it's kind of a no-brainer. No-brainer. All right, so that's growth. I'm motoring through these today. I'm sorry if I'm talking fast today. Caffeine does that to me pretty much every time. All right. I'll be having a tiny update over there on Monday. Oh, I'm testing out the kinks. If there's an issue, let me know, and I'll see if I can't take care of it. I don't know because I've not used the software before. I'm not really sure how it's going to work, but I'm going to try. Okay, grabby hands. Oh, I didn't bring it in with me. Okay, the screen's going to click. I'm going to show you my grabby hands. Okay, so this week's grabby hands is not something that you can buy Sorry. I keep giving you stuff and then taking it back. I'm kind of being a jerk today. My friend Katie over at the Knitting on the Fly podcast had podcasted several weeks ago about some box bags that she made, and they were super cute. She made a couple of them different sizes, and I don't sew well at all. So I jokingly said, hey, Katie, you really gotta send me one of those since you love me so much. And you know, she did. This is a box bag from Katie from the Knitting on the Fly podcast. You can see this is that one that she did with the airplane fabric, which is awesome. So in love with this. This is the box bag. Maybe it will focus. What do you think? Maybe? Maybe? No. I was totally shocked by this. I did not know it was coming. Katie did not say anything to me. I just all of a sudden got something in the mail from her and opened it up, and it was this box bag. And she had this really cool card, which of course I've put somewhere, and I don't know what I did with it, but it was a kaleidoscope effective yarn. It was really neat. So thank you very much, Katie. I know Katie has been struggling completing her La Vie de Bois socks, and since, be quiet, dog, since I myself, who, you know, designed the pattern, have only knit one La Vie de Bois sock. Isn't that awesome? Oh, I freaking love this pattern. Since I've only actually knit one and I don't have a pair, you don't have to knit two to design. You have to knit one, check the pattern, and then send it off to test knitters, and then test knitters do all the work that you would do when you knit the second sock. It's awesome. I have awesome test knitters too. So anyway, I have just started the Judy's Magic Cast On for the second sock, and I figured I'll help Katie out. We'll do a little knit along maybe and inspire each other to get this done. I don't know if this yarn is going to be enough to do the second sock. It might be. I actually, when I was knitting this the first time, got all the way through the foot and decided I hated it, cut the yarn, and then unraveled it. Jackson, stop barking. Daddy's upset. He's upset about it. So I cut the yarn. So I actually have two different yarn balls of leftover yarn. This yarn is String Theory Yarns in their Nexus sock. I don't remember the colorway name off the top of my head. But it's a beautiful semi-solid, it's almost a tonal green. There's some leaf greens and moss greens and olive greens all in there. And it's a really saturated skein. It's beautiful. I bought this at Fiber Frolic 2 years ago. It's pretty awesome. So that's in my little box bag. There's a ton of room in here. I mean, this has got a sock, a ball of yarn, 2 needles, and really, there's just so much room in here. So I really love that. I love Katie for thinking about me. If you guys want to send me presents, go for it. I will absolutely send you my address. Katie has it, by the way. You can contact Katie on the fly. I'm kidding, kind of. You do not have to send me things. I love little surprises like that. Like when Tina sent me the oil for my spinning wheel about a month ago or so. That was awesome too. So next week, I promise you, I will have yarn and fiber for you for the update. It won't all be show dyeing. I'm still a month away from the show, and I really don't need to spend that whole time dyeing for the show. I can dye for you guys too. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. I have 7 colorways left to dye in the lace, so that's 4 and a half, 4, and then a single skein for you guys, just in that one cone, and I don't remember how many cones I bought, but I will, half of what I dye from now on will be for you guys, and half will be for the show. So I'm working on it. If there's a colorway you specifically want to see, let me know now, because I'd be happy to do that up for you ahead of time. It's a little bit harder once I've dyed up all of, my sock yarn for you to say, hey, can you dye me some of that? So that's about all I've got for this week. I have no idea how long this episode is. I hope it's not terribly, terribly long. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say. I think that's it, guys. So I hope you're having a great Easter. I hope you're filled with chocolatey goodness. Until next week, guys, happy spinning and knitting. Thanks for tuning in.